Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Global Leaders for Parity. It is my immense pleasure to have the wonderful Rola Dagher here today. She is the president and CEO of Cisco Canada and a fellow Lebanese, just like me. I'm Caroline Codsi. I am the president and chief equality officer of Women in Governance, a nonprofit organization to close the gender gap in the workplace. So Rola, welcome.
Thank you for having me, and I'm so excited, and welcome to the new norms. You know, I could give all of you virtual hugs and tons of kisses from where I am, but I'm really excited. Thank you for having me as your first. That's awesome.
Yes, our very first, so the CEO of Cisco, and we're actually using your WebEx technology, and we'll be bringing these events every couple of weeks to our attendees globally. We're very known for doing amazing events here in Canada. We've started in the US. I've been speaking personally across the globe, pretty much everywhere. But this has been making my life easier in the sense that I'm speaking just next week in Moscow, in Paris, in Chicago, in Washington. It would have been very difficult to do in just 1 week. So let's try to make the best of these situations. So I want to welcome all our attendees. We've got close to 300 people registered. I hope everyone is on. And we've got people from right here where I am, which is Montreal, people where you are, Rola, which is Toronto. But we also have people from all over North America. We have people from Europe and from our country of origin, from Lebanon. So I want to say hello to everyone who's watching from Beirut and anywhere else in Lebanon. And also a special hello to Emmanuel Lamoureux, who is the Canadian ambassador to Lebanon. I was supposed to speak in Beirut in January, which got postponed because of the revolution. And now, well, with COVID, I don't think that my June trip is going to hold, unfortunately. So Rola, before we commence, I think most people have read the short bio that we've shared. You're a very exceptional woman. I'm extremely proud of all your accomplishments. And what I really want to underscore is the fact that not only are you at the head of one of the world's top IT company, but you've managed to make your region one of the most profitable in the world. You've been recognized by so many awards, top 100 most powerful women, Woman of the Year last year in your industry. And so can you tell us a bit of the key to your success as a woman in a male-dominated industry, but also as an immigrant woman?
So thank you again, and a special hello to our Canadian ambassador in Lebanon that's holding the fort down for all of us. Thank you. I met her last year, and it was one of those moments that when you meet someone and you connect at hello, so she got me at hello. So hello, Emmanuel, and bonsoir. So let me just start by saying I don't fit your stereotype box of a typical leader in Canada or in North America of just going to university, getting a BA, and kind of climbing the ladder up there. I fit the mold of earn it, learn it, and return it, and working hard as an immigrant that came into this country almost 30 years ago. What I could tell you that determination is the one word that got me to where I am today. Despite all the obstacles that I've had and everything that I've overcome, I've always relied on being me. Being me has served me to be the leader I am today. From leading, from a servant leadership perspective of leading people with heart, soul, and mind. And when I started at Cisco, and the reason why I started at Cisco is to take on a big challenge. I had a bet with the head of HR, and he said, it's going to take you a year to turn the company around the country. And it was less than 3 months that I did. And I was very pleased that he lost the bet, but I could tell you it's all about leading with first, people and culture.
Yes.
And when you actually lead with people, it's like, you know, people don't sleep and wake up and forget how smart they are, or they just become these people that don't know what they're doing. It's just the leader in every organization can make or break the organization. So for me, when I first walked in, I looked at, it's like having a rough diamonds, and then you kind of grab them, shine them up, and put them back on display. And that's what I did. And I basically took the time of listening and learning and leading through all of them. And I could remember my first all hands, there was 2,000 people on the call, Caroline. And when basically I was asked the question, what's your strategy? And that was day 2. And I said, sorry to disappoint you, I don't have a strategy. My strategy on day 2 is to listen and to learn and to lead through all of you. And that's what happened. And here's the success we are. In terms of determination and motivation to get me where I am as a leader is no one makes it to a podium and no one makes it to a position on their own. First, it starts with you, and you have to fight every demon in you to get to where you are, and believe in you, because that's the biggest thing, is believing in yourself. And then you rely on amazing people like your family. And I have amazing sisters. And I could tell you that I came into this country, didn't speak a word of English, and I got all my sisters to help me and get me to where I am today in terms of supporting me. And then also.
So how many years ago was that, Rola? How many years ago?
31 years ago, I entered Canada. And guess what? I found my passport about 2 months ago, and the stamp. And you know what I call it is the stamp of hope, because that was the minute of hope for me when I landed in this country after escaping Lebanon during the war.
Amazing. So that was 1989.
Yes, 1989, the year my daughter was born. She was 11 months old when we got to Canada, and I could tell you that she was, when we escaped, she was, we were out of a bomb shelter pretty much, and we went to Cyprus, and we lived on the streets in Cyprus for about 2 weeks before we got to Canada.
So that's obviously something that resonates a lot. I arrived here in 1990, so I'm just a few months after you, although I did live in Canada for 4 years during my teenage years, and then moved back to Lebanon in 1983. Not the best time to move back to Lebanon for anybody who's familiar with the Lebanese Civil War that went from 1975 to 1990. So, Rola, do you think that living through this hardship has given you any special skills that made it easier for you to overcome certain obstacles when you became a leader at Cisco?
100%. And the one thing that I love is my past did not actually hinder my future. My past has shaped me to be who I am today. If it wasn't for all the struggles that I've had during all my years of being in Lebanon, or even being here, and when I first came into Canada, and of course it's just a new country, everything, it shaped me for who I am today. Every struggle, because the struggle of us today is the power of us tomorrow. And always remember, us as women, take that struggle and fight everything in you to make it the power of you tomorrow, because that's who you are. Your story is what makes you you. The value of the story is what is the future of you. And that's what it is for me. If it wasn't those struggles, I wouldn't have been able to learn to be a better mom, a better leader, and a better sister or a better daughter to all of my the people around me. So I would say 100% yes, yes, and yes.
And talking about sisters, I saw your tweet this weekend about Mother's Day. And is it 5 sisters that you have?
I have 5 sisters. Yes, poor dad had 6 girls. We were born and raised in a very small town in Lebanon that probably have about 150 people. They're all the Daghers family, and they all almost married each other's Daghers versus Dagher. And my dad was the gypsy server that went outside of the town and then married my mom and had 6 girls. And he was actually looked at as poor man. What does 6 girls amount to? And look, he proved to the world that raising 6 girls was the most powerful thing he's ever done, him and my mom.
That is amazing. So no boys, no brothers?
No boys. He tried. I tell you, number 6, my grandmother was ready And she says, Michael, I read in the coffee cup, you know, after 6 girls, you will have a boy. And she says, Mom, I love you. Get the hell out of my house.
That's interesting. So you talk about leading with the heart. I think everything that has to do with being there for others, helping others, making a difference is something very key to your core. You spoke also about the importance of giving back to the community. You're very involved in different organizations. I'll briefly cite the Cedars Cancer Foundation. You're an advocate for pediatric and young adult cancer patients, an active member of the Business Council of Canada. You also put an emphasis on mental health. In these days, with what's going on with COVID, I think it's key to talk about the fact that Cisco Canada became recognized as a great place to work for mental wellness and women. You're a champion of mental health by the Canadian Alliance of Mental Illness and Mental Health in 2019. So can you tell us more about the importance that you give to mental health, especially in COVID days? How do we cope?
So let me start by the giving back theme first, and then I'll focus on mental health. What I love about Cisco the most is the Cisco DNA and the Cisco culture of giving back is amazing. And when I started at first, I came from an environment where I was not exposed to that many giving back, and it was just aligned 100% of who I am as a leader and as a person. And if you meet my family, they will always tell you she'll give the shirt off of her back to everyone and anyone, because that's who I am. Because my dad has taught us, if you give a penny, you get it 10 times back, because that's just how we are as people. And I know you come from the same background too. We're all givers. So specifically around what I wanted to give back, when I decided to join a board for cancer, because I'm a cancer survivor, I wanted to help. When I decided to join the Kids Health Phone and the CAMH board, is because it's not your struggle until it's visible to you. And when you look around you and your loved ones have been impacted by mental health, be it your kids, your sisters, or yourself, I think for me, leadership is not a title and a position that you have. Leadership is action. And I had to take action in terms of doing something about it. We are living in a world, especially today, technology is impacting human progress. Technology is the only thing that's keeping us connected. And yes, we are alone, but we're never just without anybody's connection, because you might feel apart from a lot of people, but you're not alone, because that technology is keeping us together. So for me, I started the conversation around mental health 2 years ago, because I saw a need that technology can make a difference to enhance the way mental health services are provided. Because as you know, before the COVID-19, it takes months and months and weeks. And one of my sisters is the core and the inspiration behind all of this, because the struggle she went through to help me get where we want to create awareness in the industry in Canada. And I was so blessed that our CEO loved the conversation, loved the idea of global. And then today we are providing Cisco employees unlimited access to mental health, the psychologists and psychologists. We just announced last week our CAMH partnership, where we put in over $2 million of technology to enhance the way mental health services. CAMH went from 30 visits a month to 3,000 on WebEx. So wow. 3,000 is huge. And today, more than ever, as I said on the Kids Health Phone board as well, you see that almost 9 million kids in Canada, almost 2 million kids reached out to Kids Health Phone in the first 2 weeks of the COVID-19. We as women, more than ever needed, because mental health is health. That's all you've got, because if you don't have your mental health, everyone around you falls apart. It's like when you're on the plane and they tell you to put your oxygen mask on. We all struggle, but we all need support through each other and through the technology that we've got. So that's why you'll always hear me talk about that, because all I want is to create awareness to all leaders out there and challenge leaders to start conversations in our organization, and leaders be vulnerable. Start the conversation about yourself. We struggle. I mean, I was born and raised in a pretty much Lebanon bomb shelters. You know how it is. We were hiding all the time, and then you come to a country. There's so many challenges that we face. Tell your story, because that's where the power comes in of telling your story, and people being yourself will allow other people to feel comfortable being themselves around you.
I love that, Rola, and I think it is so important, because trust is the base of any relationship, whether at work, in your personal life. And how can people trust you if they don't know who you actually are? So being an authentic leader, sharing your story, sharing your vulnerability, being open about your feelings, I think is so key. And it's interesting to see the shift that we've seen in the past few years, because I've always been a natural leader that way, in being very candid and sharing. And can tell you that 10, 15 years ago, when I was a VP in a major organization, I'd be pulled aside and told that, be careful what you share. Don't be so close to your employees. Don't bring them into your personal life. And I thought it was key for me to understand who they are every day, not just at work, and vice versa. So I couldn't agree more. And now to go back to your tech industry, I think it's going to, especially with the COVID situation, obviously it was a growing industry, and it's one that's going to keep thriving. And this might be the new normal. Everybody's telling us, get used to your video conferences, get used to working from home. And I think we're starting to, make the best of it. I can see a lot of positive in the fact that I'm delighted to have people from all over the globe with us today. Now at Cisco, you've also led a great initiative called Connected Women, also to support women in their career advancement. Why is it so important to support women, especially in the tech industry?
It's an awesome question, and we are, as women, we're very conservative. It is pretty sad that we don't have a lot of women coming forward when it comes to being in technology. As the president of Connected Women for the Americas, we have put a challenge out there that every single leader needs to sponsor and mentor and go out there and pick a young woman or a woman early in career or been there and stuck forever to actually develop their skills, because it's just a smart thing to do. It's diversity of thoughts, diversity of gender, diversity of everything. It's all of the above, because women come to the table with a different perspective. Women come to the table with IQ, EQ, and AQ, which is your intelligent quotient, your adaptability, and your emotional quotient, because in the old days, we hired people just for IQ, but today EQ will take IQ out in 30 seconds.
Exactly.
The full package of coming in with all of that, with all the respect for the men out there, but they just go in and they just wing it and they just do everything. And then even if they're not qualified, they'll just go for the job. We tend to overanalyze everything. And that is one thing that I will tell every woman: you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You got to go out there and continue to take those shots and fake it till you make it. If I had the qualifications on paper, and I would have never thought that I will be the president of Cisco Canada. I could tell you that Cisco rejected me 3 times as a sales account manager back in the days, because they thought back then the old club I was too aggressive. And look where I am today. So what we do today is very important, is go out there and sponsor women. Women need to sponsor other women. We have a long way to go.
Yes.
Some women are doing a good job, but some women are not. Because once you get up there, it's your job to bring that elevator back down and lift other women around you. Not because I can tell you, a lot of times in offices, all the gossip starts with women, and they talk about each. We talk about each other. Why? So for me, it's all about having each other's back. It's all about ensuring that we have the programs and the resources to go out there and guess what? Hire other women that think different. Hire people that actually can challenge you. I don't want to hire a woman that looks like me and sounds like me. I want to hire a woman that actually has the same drive as me and the same value as me. And I want to go out there and also hire immigrant women that come with so much authenticity that were needed today. So all the programs that we have, we encourage a lot of women to not sit back. Even if you walk into a board meeting, you notice women like you and me and a lot of strong women could go and sit at the front of the table. A lot of women could sit at the back or say nothing. And if there is no chair, bring your chair. As my daughter once said on a panel, if there isn't a seat, bring your own folding chair and sit at the table because you do have a voice. So we need to encourage each other. Organizations need to put programs together to develop women and having resources across every single line of businesses in order for us to continue to empower each other.
Absolutely. So this is music to my ears. Obviously, everything that has to do with supporting, other women. This is what we're all about. And I always say that strong women don't put each other down. They lift each other up. And I can tell you that we've been very supported by both men and women over the past 10 years, because 2020 is Women in Governance's 10th anniversary, which we're going to celebrate by a very big global summit, which looks like it might end up on the WebEx technology. But I think it's extremely important, first of all, to be each other's not only supporters, but I always say, let's do each other's marketing. Let's talk about each other and amplify other women's voices if they're not ready to do it themselves yet. We still have a lot of women who feel that they're not ready to share their story because it's not important enough, because they haven't done enough, or they feel that imposter syndrome. They have everything to be proud of, but they feel that it's not enough. When are we enough as women? And, we are also very much still victims of gender bias. And, when you were saying, Rola, that you were rejected because you were too aggressive as a sales account manager, it's very possible that if you had been a man, you wouldn't have been seen as too aggressive. So there are some behaviors that are acclaimed when men demonstrate them, but when it's women, it makes it more delicate. We need to be very cautious. It's a fine line between, the inspirational person and the person that comes across as being too pushy. But it's only women that struggle with this. Men don't struggle with this. So I say, and here I have my glass that says it. I say to women, just be bold. It doesn't matter if somebody criticizes you, because these people are not the ones that you're interested in. You're interested in the people who are going to say, wow, kudos, this is inspiring, good for you, congratulations, and push you. This is what we're interested in. And I'll take a sip.
This is so true. You know what? We actually have to start them early at home. We have to start the conversation.
Exactly.
Because I could tell you, and I found myself guilty as well. I mean, how many times you would tell a little girl, she's so bossy. Why are you so bossy? But we will never tell a boy you're so bossy. Start the conversation early. If a girl decides to go into chemical engineering, or decides to go into construction this is not for girls, this is just for boys. So I think it has to start at home before it gets to colleges and universities, because that's the old way of doing things. And encourage these girls from such a young age, go out there and be yourself, because everyone else is taken out there.
Exactly. And you know, the importance of working with girls, because we tend at Women in Governance to work with the women who are already at a VP level. They're seen as having already made it, even if they're not CEO, they're not completely through the glass ceiling yet. But we've traditionally had our governance training and our mentoring programs that were geared towards these women and bringing them to boards and bringing them to become president and CEO of an organization. And we've recently decided to open the conversation up to younger women so that we can have a pipeline of female talent that is readily available so that they can stop telling us that they cannot find the women because they're out there. So we are actually launching a mentoring program virtually, which should be launched in June and available across North America, and we'll also bring it across, Europe and why not Lebanon, where we will be supporting women no matter what level of the hierarchy they are. So the women who are at a VP level will be mentored by a current or a past CEO. Men or women, we've got mentors in both categories. We've been doing this for 5 years, face-to-face, live here in Montreal. And we've been wanting to export that model, which has proven to be hugely successful across the country. And now it's going to be very easy with technology to actually bring it across the globe. So for any women who might be interested in joining this new mentoring program, make sure you register to our newsletter on our womeningovernance.org website, and so you can be kept up to speed when we actually launch that program. It is very well known that when women are actually receiving that type of support, their careers will progress much faster.
So make sure when you mentor all these women, give me the list of all the top ones for you so we could hire them at Cisco.
Perfect. We will do that. Sorry, I'm just grabbing the time. We will be opening in just a few seconds for Q&A. People have received instructions. I hope they were clear on how to ask your questions. And in a few seconds, I'll introduce our VP of Global Operations, Nicole Piggott, who will take some questions from the audience and ask them of Rola or myself if relevant. And I just want to make sure that we've had so many topics, and I could speak to you all day, Rola. We had met a couple of years ago at a Fortune Most Powerful Women event in Toronto. And, when you speak about clicking right away, I think that was the case for us as well. And I've been following very closely everything that you've been doing since. And I can't tell you how proud I am of not only your career path, but also obviously the fact that you are a Lebanese woman. And my goal is to have more female CEOs. My organization, we have 11 amazing people working hard every day to achieve this. You may not be able to see the whole thing, but here we go. More CEOs. This is what we want. That was the motto that was developed by the Toronto Stock Exchange, and they were kind enough to offer it to Women in Governance for our promotion. So voila. So Nicole, are we ready with the questions from the audience?
So Caroline and Rola, fantastic conversation up until this point. Thanks for inviting me in to share some of these questions. People have been set afire by your conversation, so we'll try and capture some of these questions.
First of all, you put two Lebanese women on one call.
Well, Rola, I just want to share with you, you're not wrong about your sister support, because the first comment I got was from your sister, Carol, saying she thinks you're fantastic.
Oh, I tell her that I could tell her that I'm so happy that she's able to make it. She has an insane job. She's probably slept for 2 hours for the last week and a half, and she still made it. So I love you.
Well, she supports you 100%. Well, let's go with our first question from Marcia. And she's asking you, Rola, what are the 3 critical characteristics that you exhibit that are appreciated and welcomed by both men and women, or sort of your bridge characteristics between men and women?
My just being me, my passion, My energy is off the chart, even though I'm getting so old now, I still have that energy. And I'm a people person. It's just people connect with me because right off the bat is what you see is what you get. So no one can pay me enough to be someone that I'm not. So energy, passion, go-getter, that determination that you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option that you have, period, full stop.
Good point. Thanks for that. Marcia also had a follow-up question saying, in this time of COVID-19, I'm sure as a leader, you had to sort of dust off your crisis management plan. Did you feel that as a leader of a large organization that was going to be tested with COVID-19, that you were prepared in terms of your disaster management plan?
So no one ever was prepared for this, and no one went to sleep and woke up, thought, okay, tomorrow we're going to wake up and the whole world's going to be working from home. And if someone was prepared, then they had some insights that we didn't. So, of course, to me as a leader in Canada, my number one priority was all about our people's safety, physically and mentally. So we took action, and our corporate team has been outstanding throughout all of this and very transparent, from our CEO to the Chief Human Resource Officer. They've been amazing. So what kept me up at night is just making sure that every single Cisco employee is safe, and their families. And then, of course, we acted really, really quick around making sure that our partners and customers and communities also in a very safe environment, because we're very lucky and we're blessed at Cisco. The transition for us wasn't like other organizations, because that's
right.
what we've been doing for years and years. So the technology today, and I've always said, technology is the enabler, but people are the transformers. But at the same time, I've also focused on your job in workplace is not a place to go to anymore. It's a thing that you do. And we're so blessed that we were able to have everyone with zero disruption, people missing the physical environment for sure. So we've been really lucky and blessed. But the big focus was around, for us, was around our customers and community and the frontline support and services that we had. So hospitals, government, all we did the first 4 weeks is making sure that every doctor, every nurse, every government, the Prime Minister, everybody has a secure and a private connection to make sure they're staying connected to the world.
Fantastic. Is there anything that you would do differently as a result of learning over the past 8-9 weeks now?
Is there anything that we can do differently? Yes, act faster, because of course at the beginning it was a little bit of panic. And the other issue too is the demand on the technology was so overwhelming, we couldn't keep up. I mean, I could tell you that we had 14 billion meetings in March globally in Cisco. So it was insane. And again, we just needed to act faster. But at the beginning, we were really concerned about going to the office and taking some of our video units, like the one I'm talking on now, to donate to senior homes and to hospitals. So it took us a week or so, 2 weeks, to make sure that from an HR perspective, everyone's protected, so we couldn't just get on it right away. So I wish we were able to act a lot faster. But again, it's all like.
Well, it certainly took all of us by surprise. So we kudos for everything you've done. It shows the Cisco community spirit, which you spoke of early, looking for ways to support others in the crisis. So we have a question here from Rola, and she says, "Well done, Caroline and Rola, on your ongoing accomplishments and for inspiring us." So this question is for Rola. in the new normal, what is the importance of designing and redesigning business processes alongside a technology tool? So I'm imagining technology is going to be at the forefront.
Yeah, so a great question. The new norm is going to be all around organization digitally transforming really, really, really fast. So organizations that have been sitting and waiting for digital transformation to just happen, that they're going to have to just move a lot faster. So technology is going to be the foundation of everything we do, as you're seeing today. Between Google, between Facebook, and between organizations stating that they're not going to even come back to offices, places until the new year. Organizations in Canada, like some of the banks, are announcing the same thing. Open Text is an organization that are closing 50% of their offices before they even reopen because they saw the productivity level is the same and even better using technology. And basically, they're saving $75 million right off the bat. So that's going to be the new norm. So that's going to be the new norm. I could say from HR needs to step up now and build that experience. That experience is so important in terms of how do you stay connected in a world where you're physically not connected. I could tell you my productivity level has gone up like by 100% because the amount of times that I used to spend at airports and travel, every day it was 3 hours for me of commuting to the office. So, and today my commute to my office is less than 30 seconds, and that's taking five steps, and that's all being back into the work. So some of the processes that are being put in place are to help employees stay connected, stay mentally healthy, and ensure that they have discipline in the workplace, that just don't get to the point where it's so addictive and your office and your home is in one place. In the old days, we used to disconnect, come home and do dinner and just disconnect for a couple of hours. So you need to create that discipline at home, especially for people that have young kids. It's so important for you to create that separation, walk away from your laptop for dinner and stay with your kids and have dinner, and then go out for walks, like get out of the house. If you have to set up calls, take them, they're not video calls, take them while you're walking if they're not with customers and partners. Because if you don't do that, you'll find yourself 18 hours later, you're still in front of your laptop. So it takes a lot of discipline, and organizations now, and HR is working with technology, working with everyone to ensure that they're providing that safe platform for the new norm, which is going to be, is really important for us to stay sane.
Well, it's funny you should say that. Caroline's probably smiling because I'm a former VP of HR. So I spent 25 years working in HR. So what you're saying is music to my ears, because it's absolutely going to be critical to make sure that the work experience remains motivating and positive for people in the new normal. Like, we need to sustain people in this new normal. So thanks for the plug for HR.
No problem. And for us as women, I have to tell you, business on the top, PJs at the bottom. I stand up and show you what I'm wearing at the bottom. And I was telling Caroline last week when we spoke, my grades were down to here, and I didn't have a problem. And it feels good to put makeup on. I put makeup on for all of you ladies. And Mother's Day, my daughter treated me and got my hair done at home. So you gotta still feel good, right? Look good, feel good. So pick those things where you can have your hair in a bun, but still feel like you need to look good because it's about you. It's not about everybody else. So don't let yourself go.
Exercise.
So
yeah, I do that every day.
Same here. I'm a new Pelotonian, and I'm obsessed, and I love the app more than
the Peloton, yeah.
My sister is on as well, and she could tell you that she's been kicking my behind for the past 5 years, actually more, my entire life to get started. And I just started in January, lucky me, and I've been obsessed with it. I work out every day, and it's mental for me. It's not about losing weight.
Yeah.
It's just about feeling good, period.
And it's funny how we're adapting to the situation right now. I mean, I'm one of those crazy about the gym people. I would go 3, 4, 5 times a week to the gym. And right now, with the new situation, I've been biking. I haven't biked in 15 years. I'm biking 10 to 20 kilometers a day.
Wow.
So you know what? We're talking about mental health. It's key. I think that, with all that we're going through, and I'm just concerned about when all of this is over and adrenaline falls and how people are going to react to all this. So if you're not super strong physically, and also even just to fight COVID, let's just, be as strong as we can. It's really important. And the other thing I want to say also quickly is that women are paying a high price these days, because it's still women who are taking care of the house and the kids. And, we need to make our partners much more reliable and, get them to do their share of the work, because there are so many women who are frontline these days. They're the ones that are keeping us safe. They're the ones that are, working in hospitals, working at the pharmacy, working at the supermarket, and they're taking care of the kids and the house. And it's a lot. It's a very, very big burden. And at the same time, we also saw some very alarming statistics coming out of the U.S. this morning of how the unemployment rate for women has really risen way faster than the unemployment for men. So mental health is going to be very important for us women to keep focused. Un esprit sain dans un corps sain.
Yeah,
I can't remember how to say that in English.
We are so hard on ourselves, and I could tell you, I'm so lucky that my kids are 31 and 26, but I look at all my sisters that they have kids under the age of 10. It is hard. You guys are playing the mother, the leader, the teacher role. You're playing the role of everything. It's okay if the kids are not 100% on their classes. I think we need to lower the expectations a little bit, because you're going to burn yourself out. And I know it's probably easier for me to say because my kids are older and your kids are younger, but just give yourself a break, because if the kids are not 100% there when it comes to their schoolwork, it's okay, because this is not a norm. This is a crisis we're going through. But the one thing I could tell you that it is so important, the silver lining with this is the blessings that when are you ever going to have time to spend that much time with your family under one roof to learn so much about each other that you didn't know, right? I know it's frustrating, but look at the positive of knowing all the times that you used to feel guilty of showing up at home and missing dinner and missing everything with your kids. And now you had 2 months of being with your kids. And as much as you want to lock them up in the room, let them be themselves and enjoy the moment, because we're all learning through this together.
Absolutely agree. We only have a couple of minutes left. So Nicole, unless there's a very important question that you feel you want to ask, I think we need to move to closing remarks.
Listen, we have lots of questions, but listen,
I'm sure we do.
I will share the questions with Rola and Caroline, and maybe what we could do is send you a little bit of a synopsis of some of the insights that they can provide to share with you all. But join us, we'll be continuing this series, so you'll be able to hear more insights into the future. So
yes, that's great, Nicole. So thank you, Nicole. So yes, indeed. First of all, I want to quickly share with you that we will be doing these WebEx events every 2 weeks. Thanks to the support of Cisco. And we will be having Dr. Kohava Gerber in 2 weeks, who's an amazing researcher who's about to come up with a breakthrough drug that is going to be very helpful for anybody who's gone through heart attacks, cardiac arrest, and also COVID. So it helps. I'll let her explain. Anyway, just want to say that she's just an amazing leader with a PhD and MBA and a great career path. We will be also continuing all our work that we're doing with organizations. I think you're all familiar with our Parity Certification that we have built 4 years ago with the pro bono support of McKinsey & Company. This is how we concretely close the gender gap in the workplace. We work with organizations that want to have all the support and all the benchmarking and all the best practices to work on the different segments within their organization to allow women to progress from the entry-level roles all the way to the executive committee and to the boards. And we actually have a slide, I think, that will show you all the organizations that have been through this in 2019. This is something that we're launching across the states as well. And Rola, you'll love this. We've also created a partnership with Girl Scouts of the USA to close the gender gap in the workplace in the States. So Girl Scouts CEO, Sylvia Acevedo, is a former rocket scientist at NASA. And her scope is to bring more girls into STEM disciplines. So that's what they've been doing, apart from, obviously selling the Girl Scout cookies and making little entrepreneurs or future entrepreneurs. They're working on making these girls more ready for scientific disciplines. And while they're preparing these girls to be more bold and competent and confident and ready for the world, we are working on corporate America to make them ready for these girls to come in. So I think this is going to be unbelievably impactful. We've launched this on February 27th. So obviously the timing was not great just before COVID, but we're seeing huge interest coming from the States as well. So this certification is now across Canada and the States, and we're starting to work on Europe. So we're extremely excited. I think that about covers the little housekeeping items that I wanted to share. Rola, I don't know how to thank you for your time, for your patience, for your perseverance, for your huge heart, and also for allowing us to use your wonderful WebEx technology. I also want to thank your team that has worked wonderfully well alongside my own team. I hope that we will be able to have other opportunities to work together and to see each other and to hug each other real soon. But in the meantime, I'm sending you a very big virtual hug, and also to all the people who are listening to us. Thank you for being here. Let's keep this topic, gender equality, as a central topic. It is not something that should be tossed aside because of what's going on. Quite the opposite. Women are proving to be immense leaders at times of crisis. Some of the world countries that are making it the best during the COVID crisis are led by women. Let's keep that in mind. And also in the 2018-2019 financial crisis, we realized that all the organizations that recovered the fastest were those that had diversity in their decision-making bodies. So Rola, thank you. We will be sharing the video with everyone, and keep in touch.
Thank you so much for having me, and everyone be safe, and don't forget to be kind to yourself. So thank you. Really appreciate it, and keep up the amazing, amazing, amazing work that you and your organization is doing. And Nicole and Alyssa, thank you for making this happen, because I know a lot of work goes behind the scene to make sure that the technology is flawless. So thank you, everyone, and be safe. And we can do this.
We can do this. And so thank you to Cisco and to all our sponsors, Air Canada, Ivanhoe Cambridge, La Presse, the Globe and Mail, Clyde and Company, for making this happen, because we still need to continue our work even through the pandemic. So be safe, and be sure to watch out. We're going to put the logos of the organizations that are already certified for parity with women in governance. Ta-ta! See you in 2 weeks.